Since the last time we spoke with State Senator Tom Davis of the Lowcountry, the final plans have been announced to complete something, boy, I know you've been moving for a long time. We now have a private sector partner to take forward the nuclear power plants just north of Columbia. Tell us a little bit about them and a little bit about the deal.
You know, absolutely. And this is something I've been working on for actually 7 years. If you remember, back in July of 2017, VC Summer 2 and 3, two nuclear reactors, it was a joint venture that Santee Cooper and SCE&G had committed to undertake.
Right.
And after spending $9 billion, they pulled the plug on it and walked away from the project. And so the first step was in January of 2018. I filed a joint resolution to have Santee Cooper preserve those assets in good condition on the ground in case economic conditions ever change that made finishing those reactors economically viable, instead of selling them for pennies on the dollar. So, you know, flash forward 7 years, we've seen the demand side of the equation explode, and that data centers and large energy users are desperate for power. And so what they're willing to do now, unlike what they weren't willing to do 7, 8 years ago, is use their own money and use their own balance sheet to complete the power generation. So the deal basically is this. A group called Brookfield, which is a venture capital firm based in New York City, about $1 trillion worth of assets, they were the winning bidder. I mean, and Santee Cooper announced that it was going to sell the two reactor sites, one's 40% complete, one's 20% complete, to Brookfield. Brookfield is going to pay upfront cash $2.7 billion for those unfinished assets, which will go directly to rate relief, because right now a lot of the sunk cost of VC Summer is on ratepayers' base. So that gets taken off. The second thing Brookfield commits to do is building and completing the reactors with its own money. So about $20 billion it's going to spend to go ahead and complete the two reactors, which will bring about 2,200 megawatts of power. And the other good thing is, once the assets are completed, the utility, Santee Cooper, is going to have a 25% interest in that, basically free of charge, and they can take power off that at cost and pass those savings on to utility payers. So it is a win-win-win in terms of taking a $9 billion stranded asset, turning it into a productive asset using private capital, no public risk, no taxpayer dollars, and providing generation that we're going to need for South Carolina's economic future. So I'm really excited about this, Bob.
Absolutely. Any idea when this will happen, what the timeline is on this, and also, obviously, what kind of savings are we looking at? What's my electric bill going to look like?
Right. So the electric bill at the end of the day, a sunk cost of about $2.7 billion taking off results in about a 4 to 5% reduction in utility bills. In terms of a timeline, the next step is on December 8th, there's a more formal memorandum of understanding reached between Brookfield and Santee Cooper. After that is approved and signed, they move forward with several $1 million more worth of due diligence throughout the summer to get it in a final form for a final contract that can be submitted to the federal government for loan guarantees to begin the nuclear permitting process. So you're probably looking at construction beginning in about 1.5 years, 2 years, and about a 5-year build out. So it is part of the long-term energy solution. We've got those two reactors we're going to complete. There's a gas plant that's being built in Walterboro. That'll be another 2,000 megawatts of power. So we're really addressing the supply side of the equation, Bob, in a way that's going to meet our energy needs for decades to come.
Yeah, I know that the state is really hustling after these big plants that are going to be energy users, the data centers and things like that. We're still going to be, so this gets us close to being on the way, better than close, not
it
yet
does.
there.
I mean,
where are we?
Yeah, I would say better than close, but not only on the supply side are we creating the generation, we're aligning the cost of that new generation with these large users. We're not having the cost of new generation spread along the rate base when everybody else finances it. We're having these large hyperscalers like Google and Meta and Microsoft. They're paying for the generation. So that's also equally important, not only meeting the supply side of the equation, but having the cost of that supply side being borne by these large energy users.
All right, rates coming down, but then not immediately. We want to make sure we tell folks that. Don't expect it next month, right?
Not next month, but we're putting in place a very strong blueprint for energy future in South Carolina that's going to make us competitive throughout the nation.
Senator, thanks so much for the time. Happy Thanksgiving to you. We'll talk to you next month.
You as well. Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, take care. State Senator Tom Davis. Interesting and maybe encouraging news. We'll be back with more of the WHHI Daily News right after this.